to hear so much positive energy on the first teacher day of school. We'd like to conclude our mornings, this morning, or this segment of the morning activity by focusing on the educational component of the district, what our challenges are in moving forward. So in order to do that, we're going to have Mr. Roth give us some information about the initiatives, and then we're going to have Dr. Kerr follow up with the challenges as we move forward this school year. Mr. Roth?
Good morning. Just before I start, I'd like to take a moment for a couple personal notes for me. I'd like to thank a lot of the warm welcomes I've gotten over the last month coming back. I think we all have times in our lives where we do hit crossroads, like Mr. McGuff could say, and these last 6 months definitely for me have been a crossroads. You know, my decision to leave I thought was a logical one, and my family, that they accepted it. But when I look back, and I had an hour and 15-minute drive every day, and it was a lot of time to reflect on life and priorities. And I see my niece in the audience here, and I had her voice saying that was the worst decision ever made in the history of the world. And I have, reflecting back, my brain told me that was a good decision, but my heart said this was home. And I am very happy to be back. And I thank again for all the warm welcomes I've had. I'm just curious, though, just to make a point, how many people in here have graduated from the Armstrong School District that are in the audience? Keep your hands up. How many that have had kids, grandkids? You don't have your hand up, put your hand up if it attended or now attending in the Armstrong School District. Now, I'm going to stack the deck here. How many of you have friends that have kids in the Armstrong School District? Put your hands up. Now, this is your home too, and as we look forward, we talk about the data we talk about, and we talk about instruction and curriculum and all that. I think it's important to realize our motivations in this room, our motivations are kids in this community, and I'm happy to be back and be part of that. So as we move forward this year, I'm really looking forward to get back and work with everybody and keeping that focus in mind. I called. And I don't want to disappoint, we had to have one PowerPoint today, and it had to be me. I want to talk about building capacity. And that's really what we do in education. We build capacity in our students. And last year, remember we watched that video, Did You Know? I don't know how that impacted you, but that impacted me from an educator perspective and a parent perspective. Really, we are preparing our kids for a different future. And looking back 25 years on how the world was and how it is now, it's just amazing how it's changed. And sometimes we think in Armstrong County we're not affected by the things that are happening globally, but we are. We're affected daily. I get up every morning and read on the internet the different things that are happening. That information is like that. Things going around overseas with the war, things are happening in Russia with the economy. All that stuff, it affects us, and we know that. We heard a lady coming out of the way talk about Alger. All that stuff is because of what's happening with the global environment, the global economy. So it's real important that we do keep our focus, not only what's happening today, but what's happening down the road for our kids. But I do want to do a little celebration on things that we have done successfully over the last year. Everybody's read in the paper probably that we do have 5 schools on the warning list, but I think it's really not telling the whole picture. I'm going to give you a perspective here on what we've been doing very well and why. And we know we do stuff very well. We see it every day in interaction with our kids, but you know I'm a data guy. I like looking to see why things work. And what I'm going to show you today in the first couple of slides here are things I know that we're doing things that are working. And we have momentum going. More so, I think, at any time since I've been in the district. We really have good things going on. Make sure I work this right. All right, here are our PSSA scores. I think it's good to have a comparison. The state average just came out last week, and you can look down from grades 3 to 11, and you can see in almost at every grade level we meet the state average. We have 8th grade math, which we were a little down. 11th grade math and English, or math and reading, I'm sorry, we are down. But just to focus a little bit on 11th grade math, I came into the central office as the math coordinator. We worked on secondary curriculum. There are reasons for that, and I always look for root causes. And one thing I just want to let you know, if you look for this senior class and they were back in 7th grade, and what we were offering in the curriculum is completely different than now. This year, we have 44% less of our kids enrolled in Math 7, 60% less of our kids enrolled in Math 8. We have a 30% increase in our Algebra 1, Geometry, Algebra 2 sequence than we did 5 years ago. And it's really been a curricular issue, I think, with our kids coming through. We've let them kind of skate through and offer some, I think, curriculums that we should be offering. So I'm really looking forward to this year. This is the junior class that's had the advantage of that curriculum change. We've had that advantage of some of the class and a half programs we have in place. So I'm really looking forward, don't quote me, but I'm really being confident in the fact I think we're going to make some great gains there. And you can see the momentum we have coming through the elementary schools with the scores that we have. But what I think is more telling than just proficiency rates is we know our children all learn at different rates. And I think it's important we look at improvement. More than anything else, how are our kids improving from year to year? This is the model really the PD recommends that we've been working under when we do our strategic plan, when we do our improvement plans, and we've been focusing on each of those circles. And I think that's where we're at. We've been looking at our curriculum every year. We've been looking at our instruction. We've been looking at our interventions. We provide you, I think, with up-to-date materials and resources. So, as a state, this is a model, and I think it's a great model. But we need to be careful, I think, and I'll talk about that in a second, on where we're going. Really, that model boils down to 4 questions, and this is why I think we've really made gains. As Ms. Stitt said, we're focused on individual kids. We're past looking at the whole group. What do all our students need to know? What instructional practices we need to make that? How do we know our students are meeting the standard? That's our assessment. Now, what are we doing differently? What are our interventions for the kids aren't? So we have been focusing on those 4 questions every day. And the changes that we've made is making a big difference. Now, why I said I want to caution us is I want to make sure that the PSSAs, and we talk about it all the time, and as an educator, I've had a lot of conversations with the people in here. Are we teaching to the test? You know, are we taking our curriculum and we're clearing the plate and just focusing on math and reading? And with No Child Left Behind across the country, kind of give you a little analogy. A lot of you know that I coach wrestling. I always preach to my athletes, don't go out to wrestle, not to lose. You got to go out to win. When you focus on not losing, you never ever meet your potential. And with No Child Left Behind, I think as an education group together across the country, I think sometimes we're focusing on not to lose. We're keeping our expectations low because we're so much focused on the PSSAs. And at one time, we were low. 5 years ago, math was at 51%, and reading was at 61%. Now we have 3 out of 4 in each category across our district. So we need to get past only focusing on the PSSAs. And I hope I hear a little round of applause there because we need to move forward. We need to focus more on just math and reading. And those are important. There's no doubt. But we have a foundation now in place and we're moving kids forward. But I don't think we were doing a good job. We were doing a good job before, but maybe our focuses were off. I found this, I didn't make this, but I found a framework that I like better than the states. And it looks at 21st century skills and where we should be going. Now, if you look at that middle arc deals with the core subject. It is a supporting arc. If that's not in place, then the rest of the themes there aren't going to be supported. And I think we're ready to move forward because that arc's in place and is strong. Now, the other areas we need to look at, and we do this, I think, hit and miss. I think we want to do it. I think sometimes we don't think we have time to do it. But we need to make sure that we are focusing on these other areas, which are 21st century skills. And then I think that the district has done a very nice job in supporting with the curriculum instruction, with our curriculum cycle. Every 5 years we're looking and adopting new books, new materials. We have professional development. We're always looking at our standards and assessment. So that stuff are kind of the paths to this. But let's just briefly, and I don't want to bore you too long here, but I do have a little extra time, so. 21st century framework. The core subjects are what we're looking at. That's what we've talked about with the PSSAs, and they've all intertwined. But really, when we move forward, and we're in the 21st century, there's some other emerging themes that are out there, and we know this. Global awareness, financial and economic business, entrepreneurship literacy, civic literacy, and health literacy. Those are all important themes that are out there. You know, now college grads, more than any other time, are in debt. They walk out of college, they're in great debt. Not only because of student loans, because of credit cards. Look at the whole mortgage debacle. But we've done ourselves a disservice by not making sure we focus on those areas in life skills that are important. That does not mean we teach separate subjects for each of these. We just need to be a little smarter on infusing these into our curriculum. Learning and innovation skills. These are always a goal for us, there's no doubt. We want to promote critical thinking, problem solving, creativity, communication. It's amazing when you go out to conferences, you listen to people talk, and we're always compared to Japan, we're compared to China. They, over there, are coming back and comparing what we're doing, because they're not creative. They say they're not innovative. They're so focused on basic skills and isolated skills that they really feel they need to have a good education system like ours. And that's kind of ironic, because then we're told we need to have an education system like them. But this is an important area that, as Americans, I think we have strengths in. And we cannot let it go to the side because we're so focused on isolated skills. So in terms of creativity and communication, I encourage you that you incorporate those into your class. This is a biggie. And technology is it's just out there. We know it is. The information we can get anytime at our fingertips is unbelievable. My wife ordered this on the internet for me about 3 months ago, and I never texted anybody in my life until she bought this. This thing's amazing. I can text, get my email, make phone calls. I have all the internet connection I want. I can find anything that I want within seconds. And that's what our kids are used to. My 5-year-old can jump on the computer and get on the internet, and he can go to his little game, cartoonnetwork.com, and play his games. He's 5 years old, entered kindergarten this year. Our kids live in technology. They're immersed in it. We have to make sure we meet them. I listened to a gentleman named William Daggett, who's one of those reform gurus. He's doing a lot of work with scientists that do brain research. And our kids nowadays, brains are actually rewired compared to ours because of technology, and the way they interact with the media, and the way they interact with the computer. It's amazing. I think we've made great steps forward in the district with this. The classrooms of the future, the whiteboards we've had at the secondary level, the mobile labs. Our goal, though, is to push that down in the elementary, and that's going to be happening soon. That technology needs to be across, needs to be immersed into the district and integrated. We also need to make sure that we are teaching our kids how to use this technology properly, not only to learn, but how to operate in day-to-day life. The life and career skills, I think good teachers always do this. I think we're always trying to teach our kids leadership and responsibility, productivity, all these different snippets that are up here. But that is so important. Our kids are competing, not with just the kids from Fox Chapel or Freeport or from Ohio. They're competing globally. There's no doubt about that. We know that's happening. If you get on the phone and ever get tech support, you know that our kids are competing internationally. So we have to make sure that we provide not only in-class opportunities, but out-of-class opportunities on these areas. And one of the initiatives Dr. Kurt started last year talked about leadership, talked about giving our students opportunities to shadow in the career world, giving opportunities to do internships. Our career pathways at the secondary level is creating a framework for us to do that and move forward and do what we do better at the secondary. Our strategic plan, I don't know if you've ever seen the strategic plan, but the strategic plan, I think, is something we need to be anchored in. And what I did is I kind of color-coded this, and our strategic plan is addressing these areas. The first 3 deal with our core instruction areas. 2, 3, 4, and 5 must be in the strategic plan. It's a state requirement. Reading, math, participation rate, attendance, and graduation. But we're dealing with our core instruction. Number 5, preparing students to compete globally. We've recognized that in our strategic plan and have activities and goals set in there. promote the development of the whole student. I think our wellness initiative is a great example. We're just not looking just at the classroom, we're looking overall. We provide a lot of activities for our students across the district. And the last one, improve technological infrastructures, and the district has invested a lot of money to do that. So where are we going? Well, these first three things deal with core content, deal with what we're teaching, deal with areas that maybe we need to look at to infuse better into our curriculum with those four significant emerging content areas. And then if you look at the 21st century context, you know, we are providing students in and outside of school opportunities. We're going to continue to do that. These next ones are really, to think back to our original question, what are we teaching our kids? How are we teaching it? These really, the first two focus on how we're teaching it. Are we integrating the communication skills, the problem solving, all that into our classroom? Or are we just handing out worksheets? Are we giving students opportunities to discuss, to get up in front of the class and communicate with their peers? Are we giving them an opportunity to dig into technologies and learn how to use that? The 21st century tools, with all the computer things we have going on, we do have opportunities with our cyber school. It's first year for it. We only have a handful of students in it. But students need choice. We're providing them choice. We have opportunities for some online type of activities. I know there's people in here that have gotten their masters online. That's a big push in college. We need to be in the front edge of that we provide students courses that we couldn't offer, but we can offer online. So we're doing that. We're looking to expand that. And last, assessment. The PSSA should not dictate whether we're successful or not. It should not do that. We need other assessments to show us that. The building content we have in the classroom, the way we interact with kids, your informal assessments. I know a lot of the inductees last year and this year are going to go through formative assessment modules that teach you how to get feedback from students, the goal sets, and do that. Those are the assessments we're talking about, just not the PSSA. So, in closing, I asked my 4 boys, a lot of you know that, all 4 are going to be in school this year. And this week I asked them, I'm going to be in front of the whole teachers in the Armstrong School District. So some will be yours. So if you had to give them advice, what would you give them? Now I have one in kindergarten, one in 2nd, one in 5th, and one in 8th. So my 8th grader, of course, he doesn't want any homework, so don't listen to him. My 5th grader, he's a little bit of a card. He just doesn't want to be bored. Don't bore him. Not being bored to him is going out and having recess and phys ed every day. But it was my kindergartner who really gets to I think the hardest things. And he looked at me and he says, tell my teacher to like me. I want them to like me. And I think when we talk about this stuff, we can't lose sight of why we're here. I know we're here for the kids. Kids want to be liked. When you go out next week, you start school, like your kids. It's great. This is such a great profession, and I mean that. I enjoy it so much, and I know you do, and I think we're going to have a great year. I think we have momentum going. Go out and love your kids this week, and have a great year. Thank you.
I know that I'm glad he's back. As you can see and you heard from him today, I'm sure all of us are glad that Larry's back with us. Thank you very much. When last week in Armstrong County there was the ArmTech showcase, technology program for industry and technology. There were many defense contractors here. There were 80-some booths or vendors up at the Belmont, and they were collaborating with one another. Boeing was there, Lockheed Martin, other local industries like optical systems technology. And what they were looking for were not only collaboration and entrepreneurship between and among one another, they were looking for the right types of students, the students with a high degree of interest in a future career, interested in their education, interested in landing a good job. Mr. Burns was there helping to coordinate the Workforce Development Initiative, and we also had a group of students, and I do recall that Ms. Cochran was there, Ms. Valasek,
and Emily Derline were there as counselors. And with our students, they were able to meet with the mentors of some of the industry. My point is that even though we have a loss in the manufacturing side of industry, in Ford City, we've been so unfortunate that we've lost 500 jobs over a 3-year period. The plants closing, the corporate headquarters moving out. Well, how do you react to that? What do we do? Well, we have to build on the success of electro-optics industry and all the emerging technologies, whether it's the medical field or the manufacturing field, to do a better job in preparing our young people for the jobs that will exist now and in the future. STEM is one way of doing that. It's a nationwide effort to remain competitive as a country with India and China. All that outsourcing, that's going to continue. And we do need to be more creative. We do need to step it up. And one way we're going to do that is here in Armstrong School District, we're going to implement K through 12 STEM education. And we're going to partner with government and industry, education, institutions of higher learning to promote STEM career opportunities. One area that STEM takes a look at is trying to attract more females into the area of engineering. And there's strategies and ways of doing that. And I think that we need some help and guidance as we look for some additional funds and ways of grants to promote more young women and minorities in the field of STEM. One last thing, we continue to look at online learning, interactive learning. Larry touched on that. My belief is that the school of the future is going to be campuses or a campus in any district where kids are coming and going. When you take a look at internships, apprenticeships, co-ops, I am saying to you that online learning is one other component of an educational program for students. Our students need real-world experiences. When you hear about rigor with curriculum, when you hear about relevance to the real world, our students are going to be coming and going. I believe that all districts, not unique to Armstrong School District, will not need the building capacities that we have. What we need to do is take a look at streamlining operations, maximizing our resources, and eliminating duplication of effort in the effort to provide expanded learning opportunities to our students. The school of the future will be students coming and going, trying to access, have more access and equity to community colleges, technical fields or technical schools, and four-year colleges. It's happening now with dual enrollment or concurrent enrollment. And so what we do and will do in the future is take a more in-depth of our curriculum and make sure that we set our students up for success. More opportunities. I believe in school choice. One of the things that we debated, and I'm going to close here in just a minute, was how does the Lenape Vocational Technical Program fit into our curriculum? How does it work in terms of sending students there at the 11th and 12th grade level? I believe that Lenape is a school of choice. Students go there because of the skills, interests, and abilities that they have. Some people have looked at Lenape in the past as a so-called, and I'll say it publicly, I hate to, it's kind of a dumping ground. I don't look at it that way at all. I hope that nobody in this room has that attitude, because in our Career Pathways program, you will notice that there are 4 clusters of areas that deal with information and technology, business, health and human services, engineering, manufacturing. Students can be on that correct pathway based on, again, I repeat it, their skills, their abilities, and their interests to make choices. Students should have choice about their future, and we want to establish a base for them so that they can be successful now and in the future as adult learners and lifelong learners. Among our ranks, we have also been very fortunate to have some outstanding teachers. I'm going to ask Christy Werlowski to come forward. She certainly has a fan club. Well, let me tell you a little bit about Christy. Christy, first of all, she's aware of what she's receiving today, and on Monday night at the board meeting, she will receive the same award and recognition. Let me just go to a sheet that I have so I can tell you a little bit about her background. First of all, Mrs. Orlowski has been extremely active in the Elderton community since 1992, and she presently supplements her impressive instruction by continuing as a member of several organizations and committees in the district. First of all, our Safe Schools Committee, our Professional Development Committee, the Teacher Mentoring Committee, and many others in the field of science and technology. Also, she has served as a sponsor and coach with our students of science and extracurricular activities. Christy is the Science Department Chairman, and she teaches AP Biology, Biology 2, and Biology 1 in General Science at Elderton Senior High School. She has received an award from the National Association of Biology Teachers for outstanding leadership and distinguished service as a biology teacher. The honors given annually, really since 1961, and a teacher from each of the United States, its possessions, such as Puerto Rico, the District of Columbia, and Canada, have also made valuable contributions to the profession and to his or her students. Criteria for the award that was given to Christy included teaching ability, experience, inventiveness, inherent teaching strengths, and cooperativeness in the school and the community. She received the award last fall. Today, on behalf of the school district, our board of directors, and the administration, she is receiving the 4th Superintendent's Award. Over the 10-year period that I have been here, we've only issued 4 awards. She is number 4. The Superintendent's Award. This certificate is awarded to Christy Orlowski in honor of her being named 2008 Pennsylvania Outstanding Biology Teacher by the National Association of Biology Teachers, given by the Armstrong School District on this date, August